He wasn't a doctor, but he treated hundreds of people a day. This is Don Pedrito Jaramillo, a Mexican-born curandero who brought curandismo to the Southwest in the late 1800s. Don Pedrito Jaramillo was born near Jalisco, Guadalajara in or around 1930, and he lived the life of a poor rancher up until he was 50 years old when an accident would change his purpose in life. One day while riding a horse, he was hit in the face by a tree branch that knocked him to the ground. He was knocked unconscious for a really long time. Some accounts say that it was 3 days. When he finally regained consciousness, he was in so much pain and he realized that his nose was broken and the flesh was torn right down to the bone. But somehow, despite all the pain that he was in, he had the sudden urge to put his face in a mud puddle that was nearby. Immediately, he felt relief and the pain was suddenly gone. But that's when he heard a voice. And the voice said, "From now on, you will cure in my name. Always give as a prescription the first ingredient that comes to mind. That is the right one." After that day, Don Pedrito Jaramillo was left with a huge scar on his nose and the gift of curanderismo. In 1881, Don Jaramillo moved from Jalisco to a small town called Falfurrias, right outside of Los Olmos in Texas. Word quickly spread of this man who could heal anything, and on any given day, there were hundreds of people waiting for him outside of his home. Don Jaramillo's healing techniques were unique, to say the least. Just like we would expect any curandero to do, he did often use prayer, diet, and natural remedies to cure people. Witnesses say that Don Jaramillo always gave very specific instructions. Sometimes they were simple, sometimes they were unusual, and they were usually in increments of 3 or 9 days. These are some of the remedies that I found in a book about him, so I am going to move and let you guys screenshot these so you guys can read these. Some examples include having somebody eat canned tomatoes for 3 days to cure vision loss, having a woman drink a cup of water at 9 for 9 days to become pregnant, and healing somebody's leg pain by telling them to submerge the other healthy leg in cold water. For Don Jaramillo, it wasn't the ingredients that were curing the ailments. The ingredients were being used as an instrument associated with intention and God's will. Don Jaramillo began hearing stories of people who really wanted to see him and needed his help but weren't physically able to leave their homes. So he decided that he would tour the Southwest on horseback and come to the people. He did this for a while, but eventually it became obvious that that wasn't enough. So he began helping people through the mail, and people were not happy about this, specifically the American Medical Association and the U.S. Postal Service. They took Don Jaramillo to federal court. They accused him of peddling fake cures and defrauding people through the mail. But this case was dismissed when numerous witnesses came forward to testify that he was the only one who was willing to help them when modern medicine failed them or they were refused any treatments, and that he never once charged anybody a cent. Pedro Jaramillo spent the rest of his life healing people and helping the poor. This earned him the nicknames the Healer of Los Olmos and the Benefactor of Humanity. Don Jaramillo passed away in 1907, but even now, almost 120 years after his death, his impact is still felt. This shrine was built to honor him, and on any given day, like even to this day, you can find people in there praying, leaving notes, and lighting candles. And in case you need it, here is one of the prayers that you can say if you need Don Pedrito's help. Also, if you're ever in Falfurrias, there is a whole museum exhibit dedicated to him at the Heritage Museum of Falfurrias.